The training of 20 South Sudanese professionals in both the public and civil society organizations on project development, implementation, and leadership skills kicks off at Juba Regency Hotel on Tuesday, 24th November 2015. The 5-month-long training initiative is organized by the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITAR, Hiroshima office, and the Embassy of Japan in South Sudan, and fully coordinated with the support of the government of the Republic of South Sudan, where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation is the political focal point, and the Ministry of Labor, Public Service, and Human Resource Development is the operational focal point. In his inaugural statement, the National Minister for Foreign Affairs, Barnaba Mariel Benjamin, calls for participants to make the best use of this training.
To visit Hiroshima, and it was nice to remember those. You know, Hiroshima was one of the areas which was bombed rubble. Over nearly 100,000 of people, as you can see in the film. That city was completely bombed, the atomic bomb, right up to the ground. And you cannot believe how the Japanese, not only Hiroshima, but Nagasaki also was equally bombed. And if you go to Japan today, you see that everything has come back. They have rebuilt that country. They came out of a terrible war, the Second World War, where they were the first country to be exposed to an atomic bomb. But Japan now is up, has built this country. So that's why we say in South Sudan that Japan can understand South Sudan. Because South Sudan has also been destroyed through war, has been neglected, is beginning from this crash. And I think if Japanese could have done it to build that country which was destroyed, why should we not do it? And I think that's why the relationship between Sudan, South Sudan, and Japan, season before the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, was important for us to realize that. So carry our thanks to your institute. We are happy because I visited your institute at that time, and I thought it was a good institute, and I was told 4 years ago, I think, no, even beyond that, that one day we will have a training for South Sudan. I'm glad to see today I'm happy also to see our good friend Balas Toba, of course the country director of the United Nations Development Program, to be a part of this program. This is solidarity between the government of Japan, the United Nations, and the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITAR, that is connected with this, plus the government of the Republic of South Sudan as a beneficiary. I think we are happy that you are here, a part of us. We equally thank you for the tremendous effort you are doing to good delivery services to our people in support of those projects. My speech is mostly to thank on behalf of the government. I am also happy to see among us here mainly the supervisors. I think it is important that we have these fellow representative of the public sector organization, Mr. Manuel Yume. I see you here, and we were pleased of your statement. Also our dear sister Rahima, who is also here, that also delivered, I hope, your contributions as participants and as supervisors also in a way, and as people who have had experience within UNITAR activities since it started. Here we are, I have my ambassador here who has benefited from UNITAR. So that is a product of UNITAR, and you can see how efficient he is now. What I would say in my statement here, which is the official statement, you know, statement is always official statement. It is you, when you are trained properly, that prepare it for us with constitution. Give us the statement and we do it. And that's why this capacity building program, the selection was excellent, as said much earlier, from about 15 ministries. I'm sure my colleague, the Minister of Labor and Human Resource Development should have been here, but I see some of the senior officials are here. and people who, when you go back to your ministries, you will be able to make a change in how we run things in our government, because we are building the country. So it is a great honor, ladies and gentlemen, and satisfaction for me to be invited here in order to present my government and my people, so especially in the presence of this special group of civil servants, which consists of civil servants, also civil society organizations, as well as business community. And indeed, I'm glad you were aware of the gender equality here. Otherwise, the problem of gender is always blamed on the politicians. But you must know now, it is you civil servants who will also be responsible in how you constitute the establishment. Part of capacity. She was able to do that. You know that for the capacity program, for us to benefit from, it is important that we have to proceed and encourage gender equality in our country, so that South Sudan, without educating our women, we can never go ahead. All the men in this country can become all PhD holders. And if the girl child is not educated, you will be as primitive as anybody who has not been to school. So we must educate. We must educate the girl child, because family, of which the core is a mother, having capacity and ability, will form a nucleus of what a country is. So a small family actually represents the country. It consists of the mother, father, and the children. And who runs that home? It is really the mother. So let us move together. And we thank you for this training. I think we are going to have 3 workshops, of which one will be also in Japan. I think the second training workshop, I don't know where you're going to have it. That should also include our other areas, especially the states that we have. We also will have a sample from the state. I'm glad some people from Central Equatoria are here. So the success of this special training, you are setting a ball rolling, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you will take your responsibility to benefit from this, not for yourself only, but for the people of this country. Because it is how the capacity program is done that reflects, in fact, the development programs in a country.
Japanese ambassador to South Sudan, Kie Masahiko, added his voice on this training.
It is quite important for a new country like South Sudan to have a good vision with inspiration and have good institutions built by good leaders. And I believe that Hiroshima in Japan can be a source of inspiration for this country. And I believe that this program will bring about a good opportunity for many young South Sudanese to have a look at Hiroshima, Japan, and see how a devastated place can develop tremendously for years. And I believe that this program will train and create the key national change agents that Hiroshima would like to develop. I hope that the selected South Sudanese fellows bear the hope of all South Sudanese and will acquire the skills to shape the peace through this program. We hope that this workshop, together with the 2 others to follow, brings about long-lasting effect on the self-help efforts of South Sudan to let a harmonious society take root and prosper. And I have a few words to the supervisors and the fellows. First of all, I thank the supervisors to allow your staff to have 3 weeks off to the workshop here and in Japan. And I wish that they could make most of the opportunity and the ideas that the trainees will bring about, and make full use of the capacity and ideas in place for the work of the respective ministries and organizations. And I wish that the trainees will make friends with each other, and it's a good group of 20 people from all the different ministries and organizations, and this will be a very core of changing the country and the nation. My last comment is that this is just a first-year commitment by the Japanese government, and we have not yet made a formal decision to continue. But I'm quite sure that with all the achievements that you 20 people will bring about, we hope that we like to see concrete, tangible outcomes by all the trainees, so that the program can continue and expand for years to come for the peace and prosperity of South Sudan. Thank you very much.
To start with, we are actually entering into a very critical phase in our nation, which is the implementation of peace agreement. And building of a nation is not something easy. This is what we have been actually talking about all this time. Now I think we have seen that building of a nation is not something easy. You really need the people who will build the nation. You really need to equip them with knowledge, with skills. So this is a good beginning. This is what I said, is a good beginning, because this is the priority. If we are not giving capacity building and training a priority, then we are actually doing nothing. And I hope we are now beginning to learn. Capacity building is actually the priority, and this is what we need. And this is why we have been talking to UNAMIS and the UN, that without capacity building in your program, why should you be really here? Because when we got our independence, everybody knows the situation of South Sudan by then. We're devastated by war. We have been fighting for a very long time. 1955, even before the independence of the old Sudan. And then we started again in 83. And we have been fighting until 2005. So there is no development, there is no infrastructure. So this is why the first mandate of UNAMIS, when it was established by resolution number 1996, was a kind of elaborate in scope, because they were going to start from building the nation, from building the institution, capacity building of the civil service, the security sector, everything was there. And this is why we have actually been complaining that you have to reinstate, the UNAMIS mandate. Number one is capacity building. So we are really very happy that UNITAR and Japan are now taking the lead, to build the capacity of our officials in South Sudan. I personally have an experience with UNITAR because I'm a diplomat and I was actually in Geneva. And I have taken so many courses in UNITAR. You know, starting from the UN system, how it operates, international law, because also I'm a lawyer by my background, and I have a fellowship from UNITAR in international law. So capacity building, and UNITAR I think is the best. And I hope you are going to gain from this course. And I'm very happy, I'm very delighted with the way people were selected. The selection, because I was part of it, it was done in a very nice way. It never happened before. Because if you don't select the best people, whatever you are going to do is a waste.
Hiroshima office. I believe that many of you have heard of Hiroshima. Now, our office, we have 4 strategic pillars, but whatever we do, building on the history of Hiroshima, we are doing everything for sustained peace. That's what we are aiming for. We have 4 pillars. Number 1 is peace building activities. We have been supporting Afghanistan for the past 11 years. And this year we are honored to start providing support for the government of South Sudan and people of South Sudan. And we are also providing training program for Western African countries in the Sahel region in Africa. Number 2 strategic pillar is disarmament affairs. Particularly considering the history of Hiroshima, we are doing a training program on nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. And this year we provided training for Southeast Asian countries. And number 3 is human security and environment. We provide training on green economy. We also provide training on disaster risk reduction. And finally, we provide training on culture and social issues. We provide training on World Heritage Sites and also gender issues, empowerment of women. But again, everything we do is for sustained peace. Now, moving to this specific training program, we have 3 key objectives. Number 1 is to promote indigenous capacity development and ownership. This is building on what we experienced in Hiroshima. You will see pictures later, but 70 years ago, Hiroshima became nothing. It burned into ashes. But how did Hiroshima recover? It was the people of Hiroshima who came together and they planned and they rebuilt the city. So that's what we are promoting here. We are here to train the people of South Sudan so that you could build your country based on your culture, the background, everything. Now, number 2, develop knowledge, skills, and attitudes for effective project management and leadership. So through this training program, we give very specific, tangible, concrete skill sets which are critical for effective project management and leadership, team building. And finally, which is actually really, really important, is to help build a network of professionals. For this training program, we have 20 fellows, and everyone is coming from a different organization, NGOs. So what we are doing is bringing those different people together so that they will build their own network, which will become friendship and last for many years to come. So we have 20 fellows. This is a 5-month training program. We are now organizing the first workshop. But again, this is just one of the key activities. It's going to continue for 5 months. We have 3 workshops. The first workshop is happening in Juba right now. The second workshop is going to happen in Japan, partially in Tokyo, but mainly in Hiroshima. And the last one, blended learning methodology, what it means is we organize workshops, face-to-face interaction, but not only that, we provide mentoring and coaching through online assignments, many things. so that people will never get bored. Now, 20 participants. So we have representatives from 15 ministries, 1 local authority, Juba City Council, and 4 NGOs. And we have 8 female fellows and 12 male fellows. So we are also looking at gender equality too. Now, this is the outline. So we have 3 workshops. Workshop 1 focuses on project design. And fellow is already working on assignment 1, which is organizational needs assessment. Very intensive. Now, workshop 2, which is in Japan, will focus on the project formulation, so people will actually start writing the proposal. And final workshop, we will come back to Juba, and we will focus on leadership and team building. And for the final assignment, fellows will develop action plan. And these are tangible, concrete skill sets fellows will gain throughout the 5-month intensive training program. So they are very tangible, as you see: project identification, design, prioritization, implementation, monitoring and evaluation, and soft skill sets, which are very critical to actually get work done. So leadership, communications, of course, presentation. That's what I'm doing right now, and leadership change management.
A female participant representing the civil society organization, Rahma Saima from iRadio, acknowledges the importance of this training.
As we all know, that project development, successful implementations, followed by sustainable strategies of the same projects are important processes for our country's path to economic recovery as well as economic independence. And that is what we all want for this country. This is not only true for the past and present, but will also be true for the future generations to come. But only if we set strong and valuable foundations, which I believe is the major aim of this training course today. Therefore, I would like to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Internal Cooperation of South Sudan, the United Nations Institute of Training and Research, UNITAR, and the Embassy of Japan in South Sudan for this opportunity to strengthen the capacity of 20 participants who will take part in this process. We already started yesterday. With topics on basic knowledge on project design, project financing, project implementation, as well as project sustainability. I'm sure that we will all find the sessions interesting and valuable and relevant to our situation. And with participants coming from different backgrounds and institutions, some from government institutions and some from civil society like myself, we believe that this is also an approach or opportunity that we could use to encourage collaboration among the different actors in our country so as to achieve a better result for the benefit of our beloved country, South Sudan. We look forward to a successful training program over the next 5 days and the other days to follow, as you were told here that the program will go for about 5 months. Finally, to all participants, both from the public sector and civil society organizations, I strongly encourage all of you, including myself, to be actively engaged in the various course sessions and discussions and interactions during the whole process so that we can gather knowledge and come back and apply it in our own situation to develop this country to become what we want. I hope that we have a good training workshop during the whole process and that we are all diligent, patient, and sincere for the next 5 days and also the several months to come during the other sessions to follow. Thank you all, and I wish you all a very successful training course. May the everlasting and almighty God bless all of you.
Excellencies, program organizers, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, November 23rd, 20 South Sudanese officials, 16 from public sector institutions, and 4 from civil society institutions, began the first day of a week-long customized and context-based capacity building training program. This program is important not just for our personal and career development, but also for building a peaceful, stable, fair, prosperous, and democratic South Sudan. Here in Juba, we will spend another 4 days of a valuable time to share a common goal and commit ourselves to network with ourselves and with coaches to learn from each other as well as from others' experience, just as we've seen on the small clip on Japan, so as to build our capacity to counter the challenges which have for so long impeded the progress of this country. Later on, as we progress in this program, the study tours and excursions will give us perhaps a glimpse of the history of Japan's post-conflict reconstruction. And because of our time together at the various sessions of the program, it is our hope that as we take the steps to delve into the deeper world of project development and implementation, this will be a very interactive learning platform, one which will augment or enhance our understanding and professional experiences. We have different professional backgrounds. With this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let us work together and use this training program to dedicate our energies collectively and abilities to make a positive change and transform South Sudan into the country and nation we all aspire to have for ourselves and future generations.
The UNITAR South Sudan Fellowship Program includes 3 workshops, 2 in Juba and 1 in Tokyo, Hiroshima in Japan. The UNITAR Hiroshima office has more than 10 years experience in designing and conducting training for people from post-conflict countries and commands a unique understanding of the needs of such trainees as they work towards building peace.